Testing. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, I call to order this September 23rd, 2025 hybrid administrative meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. All of the commissioners are present here in person this evening. We're going to start with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Frank Baca.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Baca. Madam County Manager, are there any changes or additions to the agenda this evening?
Yes, Chair. We have a late add item. So 3A Capital Improvement Program, Bernalillo County Policy Priorities for the 2025 special session be added to the final agenda as item 8A under adoption of resolution. Staff is also requesting suspension of the rules for final adoption in order to be timely for the discussions at a state level. Additionally, item 9B, County Clerk, regular local election, City of Albuquerque, City-County runoff election, be moved from introduction of resolutions to the consent agenda as item 6L for adoption. This will also require suspension of the rules for final adoption at introduction. A vote is required for the above changes to the agenda, in addition to a vote for the suspension of the rules for items 6L and 8A.
All right. Commissioners, are there any changes from the dais? All right, not seeing any, so we'll go ahead and get started on those suggestions to change our agenda. So first of all, I would make a motion to add item 8A, the Capital Improvement Program priorities for the special session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion on the late add? Seeing none, all those in favor signal in the affirmative.
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. All right, then we'll go ahead and move to a motion for immediate action on said policy priorities for the special session. So moved.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. And then lastly, motion for immediate action on item 9B for the regular local election, City of Albuquerque City-County runoff. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move it to the consent?
County Manager, was there,
I just wanted to make sure that that item was moved also to consent as part of the action. Is that the request, Julie?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
okay. So if I may, Commissioners, I revise the motion for immediate action and consent, immediate action and move to consent.
Second.
Seconder's good. All those in favor, signal in the affirmative.
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it's adopted 5-0, and we have an agenda for the evening. Thank you, Madam County Manager and Commissioners. So that's going to take us into item 4, our proclamations. Both of those this evening sponsored by Vice Chair Barboa to start us off with National Recovery Month.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for anyone that's here to celebrate National Recovery Month. We had a wonderful event this weekend celebrating the recovery community at the Explora. I just want to say I loved it. We saw adults with their kids playing, adults without kids playing, and it just felt like a very good time to be celebrating recovery. And I was reminded by one of our speakers, Nico Morales, that the word recovery means to take back. So I'm really excited to think about us taking back our lives in New Mexico, and that's what Keeping Them Alive's been trying to do. I also want to recognize that we have our second Judicial Court Judge, Leos, in the room. We really appreciate her. been grateful to be able to serve with her on our Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. So I'm going to read this proclamation, just recognizing National Recovery Month, which is September, and thankful for everybody here to celebrate with us. So, the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners, sponsored by Commissioners Barbara Baca, Frank Baca, Adrian Barboa, Walt Benson, and Eric C. Olivas. Whereas September is recognized as National Recovery Month, a time to honor the courage and resilience of individuals recovering from substance use and mental health disorders, and to celebrate the progress made in supporting recovery. And whereas the 2025 National Recovery Month theme is recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. Emphasizes that recovery is inclusive, far-reaching, and vital for individuals, families, and the community as a whole. And whereas September also includes 988 Day of Remembrance, highlighting the nationwide 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline as an essential resource for individuals experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, and reaffirming the county's commitment to connecting residents with life-saving support. And whereas local initiatives such as Keep Enema Alive provide vital outreach, education, and community engagement to prevent suicide, promote recovery, and ensure that every New Mexican knows that they are not alone. And whereas the team of the 2nd Judicial District Young Adult Court consistently explores the unique challenges emerging adults with behavioral conditions face in the justice system and meaningfully engages with them to explore recovery pathways that can be sustained over time. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim September 2025 as National Recovery Month in Bernalillo County and encourages all residents to acknowledge the importance of recovery, support those on the journey, utilize resources such as the 988 Lifeline, and Keep Enema Alive, and work together to build stronger, healthier communities. Done this 23rd day of September 2025 in Bernalillo County, state of New Mexico. Yay.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Commission, I'd like to introduce Tanya Tiarina, who is the Clinical Operations Manager for the 2nd Judicial District, and with her are some graduates of the Young Adult Court, and they are here to accept the proclamation and say a few remarks. Tanya?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. It's truly an honor to stand before you and accept this meaningful proclamation on behalf of the 2nd Judicial District's Court Young Adult Court team. Joining me tonight are Honorable Judge Leos, presiding judge of the Young Adult Court Program, and our program manager, Coral Mendez Flores. I also have with me 3 of our program participants. We are proud to be here, not only to receive this recognition, but to stand united in support of the young people who are courageously walking the path of recovery. Your continued support as a commission makes our work possible. We could not do what we do without the trust, respect, and encouragement you've consistently shown us. Though we serve in different roles, we are deeply connected by a shared belief that recovery is not only possible, it is expected, because young people, they are resilient, they are capable of change, and when given the opportunity, support, and accountability, they can rise above the challenges they are faced with. Thank you for recognizing the importance of this work, and most of all for believing in what is possible, because lives can be restored, lives can be saved, families can heal, parents can get their children back, and children can get their parents back. To date, the Young Adult Court Program has had 96 graduates. which is a testament of what can happen when we put our efforts and resources and hearts in the right places. Today's proclamation is a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when government, the justice system, and young people come together in pursuit of growth, healing, and hope for our future. With that, I'm going to introduce you to 3 of our program participants who can share firsthand the life-changing impact of community and judicial support through their journey of recovery.
My name is Catherine Chopito. I'm 23 years old. Um, I was a teen mom and like trying to balance like my work life, school life, and taking care of my son and myself was stressful. So I started drinking at a really young age and using drugs. Me getting involved in the criminal justice system, like it was a mistake I wish I could take back, but obviously can't. And young adult court has helped me rehabilitate myself and become a better person, like by doing counseling and having all the resources and treatment that they help. It helped me become a better person and a better mom. I've been sober since last year, August 2024.
Hello, I'm Bodie Lamariano. I'm 19 years old. I've been in the young adult court program since like last year in December. But pretty much, I think like something significant that's happened to me is being accepted in this program and getting the opportunity to have sobriety. I've been sober like 580 something days since February 17th, 2024. But when I used to just drink, that was really it. I didn't do too much else, but it was bad, and then I would like black out and do stupid stuff. But I'm glad that I got the opportunity to be in this program and here today.
First off, I would like to say thank you to everyone for letting me speak. My name is Silas. I'm 20 years old. Something significant to me is being able to watch my daughter grow. That was my main priority in wanting to maintain sobriety. And my days clean, I've been 11 months since I've been in the program. Hasn't really been long, but been working on it. I'm still working on it. I'm blessed. Thank you guys. I would just like to really say how grateful I am to the young adult court, honestly. I was really nervous, of course, to speak, but as confident as I am with my clean days and just having all the help and resources that I've been given, an opportunity to be there, to watch my baby is such a blessing. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
I want to ask one question before you come up here. Tanya, I understand that young adult court has like a 88% success rate.
Our success rate is very high. For your average treatment court program, it's around 50%, but for young adult court, our success rate is actually above the national average.
And I think that is because of the beautiful, kind, loving respect with rules and, some boundaries, but the kind of care that you and the Second Judicial Court have given. Ask one more question. My question, does the young adult court currently have a waiting list for people?
That I don't know offhand, but our program manager is here, and I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to ask her if she can confirm that or not. We typically run on a wait list, and the average treatment court program has about 30 clients in it. Young adult court exceeds 100 right now at this point with young people on the wait list, yes.
And people are on that waiting list because of capacity needs, correct?
Absolutely, and we actually pull numbers every year to look at the missed opportunity, how many young people we could have served and we weren't able to because Our program it's long-term. They're not with us for a short period of time. It's typically 24 months, but when you're talking about a young person that's struggling significantly with fentanyl or a more hard drug that takes a little bit more time, we've had people in our program up to 4 years. We're not going to quit working with them because of continued use. As long as we see that the community is safe, they're not picking up new charges, but they're working the treatment, we're going to continue to work with them. So sometimes people in our program stay much longer than what we even anticipated when we started young adult court back in 2017.
Thank you, Ms. Tijerina. Thank you to all of you that presented. We'd love to take a picture with you. Yes, Judge Leos, can you come up? And, yeah, both of you, come up. No, you're good. And just quickly, if I may, Chair, to say thank you to the folks who shared your story. I know you are brave and courageous, and it needs to be heard because our communities need to understand and put resources where they are working. So thank you for sharing your powerful testimonies.
And Vice Chair, if I may, real quick, I just
Yes.
wanted to reiterate that to the young people here today that shared your story. I just want to congratulate you on your incredible success and, what you demonstrate to I'm sure to your families, to your friends, and to young people all over the community that sobriety is possible. And again, just congratulations on your success and wish you nothing but the best in the future as members of our community that I think are going to thrive because of the work that you're putting in. So thank you.
Yes.
And Vice Chair, go ahead.
Thank you. We'll go on to the next proclamation. Thank you. The next proclamation, let me get is I'm very also honored to see our members of the Youth Sports Commission in the house. Yay. I'll read out this proclamation and then we'll give you some time to come and say a few words. The Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners, whereas Bernalillo County believes in the power of youth sports to build stronger communities, foster healthy lifestyles, and develop teamwork, leadership, and lifelong skills in young people. And whereas the Bernalillo County Youth Sports Commission is dedicated to providing safe, inclusive, and accessible athletic opportunities that engage thousands of children each year, promoting both skill development and character growth. And whereas the Commission's programs directly support the physical, mental, and social well-being of youth while strengthening families and neighborhoods throughout the county. And whereas the City of Albuquerque and Albuquerque Public Schools partner with the county and the Commission to expand opportunities, share resources, and enhance access to quality athletic facilities for current and future generations. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners recognizes and commends the Commission and its partners for their outstanding leadership, commitment to youth engagement, and contributions to community enrichment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners recognizes the Bernalillo County Youth Sports Commission in partnership with the City of Albuquerque and Albuquerque Public Schools for its outstanding service and dedication to youth athletics, affirms its commitment to collaborative efforts that expand facilities and opportunities for young people, and extends its deepest gratitude to the children, families, coaches, and volunteers whose passion makes youth sports possible, celebrating both past achievements and the bright future of youth athletics in our community. Bernalillo County Youth Sports Commission, done this 23rd day of September 25th of September, 23rd day of September 2025 in Bernalillo County, state of New Mexico. Yay, thank you. Please come up. Thank you. I just want to say the first time I went to a few of the meetings when I first got on commission, And I just was amazed to hear how much this board is doing, all volunteer board, really passionate and care about youth sports. So thank you for being here today. Love to hear from you.
Chair, Madam Chair, Commissioners, before I start, I want to say that was powerful what we all just heard. It really was truly powerful. And what they have accomplished and what we try to accomplish every time we're at the fields and keep kids involved, I commend you. That's outstanding. So what we do. First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's an incredible honor. It truly is. You know what I mean? Our mission is a pretty simple one. It is to keep kids involved, keep kids engaged. And we try to do that through sports, right? It's one of those situations where the kids themselves, the parents, everyone that's involved, it all makes it happen, right? They all help make this happen. I'm going to pull notes because I'm a little nervous. Again, on behalf of the Youth Sports Commission, I want to say we accept this proclamation with tremendous gratitude. Our mission and the recognition is really for our kids, right? It truly is for our kids, their health, their growth, and their future. Through all of our different sports, we have multiple different sports here. We have soccer, we have swimming, we have baseball, we have Jim who does everything, we have track, we have football, we have boxing, and we have PAL. Through all of our different sports and those sports who aren't here, we try to help build healthier human beings, healthier bodies, healthier minds, so they can succeed and become confident, right? So we want to say thanks for acknowledging what we try to do. We are only here or able to achieve it, again, through the families and coaches and so forth, especially our partners that we had mentioned earlier, the city of Albuquerque, APS, and so forth, especially Bernalillo County. Bernalillo County has been outstanding. They truly have. We are grateful to, where's the staff that helps with, the staff back there, they're outstanding. They support the kids any way they possibly can. And that support is tremendous, and it shows when you come out to Mesa del Sol, our regional sports complex. It really does. You see all those families, you see all the kids. It really does come through. They help develop a world-class facility that lets our kids play regularly there, but then we can bring other kids here to see New Mexico, see Bernalillo County, and partake as well. Gloria has a lot of different events where people come here and they say, wow, this is in New Mexico. Yes, it is, right? And that's really kind of cool. The world-class spaces that we have, but the community that we have too, right? We have a great community here as well. The commissioners who made Mesa del Sol a priority, both investment-wise as well as priority when, legislatively and with dollars. I mean, want to say thank you because it's tremendous. It keeps those kids involved and gives them that space. I believe that together we're continuing to build stronger community, right? Every time we're out there, it's amazing. Commissioner Barboa has seen it firsthand. Chair Olivas has seen it firsthand. We rode around on golf carts. Commissioner Baca has seen it. We have some fun out there, right? And I think it's tremendous. And our mission is to build good humans, good young men, good young ladies. So thanks. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just want to add one other thing, and I think recognizing the Bernalillo County Commission, because this is really unique. The Bernalillo County Youth Sports Commission doesn't exist like anywhere else, and I travel a lot to other states and other environments, and there's blue ribbon committees and things like that, but this is a working group that exists because of your leadership, and so we're grateful to you. We're grateful to be united with you and trying to do the right thing in our communities. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey.
I wanted to say something real quick, if I may. I think it's a real testament to your board that just in the brief time I've been on this commission in this seat, I know at least 4 of you independently have reached out to me. We went and rode around, looked at Mesa del Sol, but Jim, I actually went to school with your son. You know that. You were one of the first people that ever reached out to me when I first was elected, educating me on the commission and the work that you all do. Mr. Kelly, you've again been in touch from the beginning, and I think it just shows the passion that you all have for kids, for youth, for sports, and that nexus of all three, and what that means for our community as far as prevention, and just helping young people find healthy ways to put their energy to good use. I know it helped me when I was in that situation, and so I just think you guys are an incredible group. And Commissioner Frank Baca and I are sponsoring a resolution later this evening in regards to boards and commissions. And one of the things that we've shot around between ourselves is what a model this commission is, this group, the youth sports group is, for all of our boards and commissions as far as just being proactive, being accountable, being professional. You all are really just knocking it out of the park and doing a great job of educating us, educating the community, and advocating. And I think all those things go hand in hand. So I just want to thank you all for your work. I know you're volunteers, but you put your heart into this and it shows. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Frank Baca.
I echo the comments made by the chairman and vice chair. Yeah, passionate leaders, no doubt. Had me out there on a golf cart. I really was educated about all the opportunities and all that you do. But I also understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you do all the work you do without much financial support from the county, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but I am thinking about that, and I think that may be something we need to consider in terms of our budget as we going forward, thinking about how much more we could do, and aside from the issue of that the chair mentioned in regards to the members of the commission. But, if we invest now, we're going to save so much money later on, because we've all heard and seen the stories that occurred in this community, and most recently, something I heard in this chamber, which was that it costs the county $570 per day per resident to keep somebody at the juvenile justice detention facility. $570 per day, which means equates to about $208,000 per year. Can't imagine how much we would save if we had invested some of that money into our kids now and before we get into that point. So thank you all for all you do.
Commissioner Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank you guys for all that you do. You were the first commission that I met with after I was first elected as well. And I would go so far as to say you're one of the most important commissions we have in terms of good for the community, in that you're taking care, you're providing outlets and avenues for our children. And when kids don't have constructive outlets, there's typically a problem. And a lot of times, sports are what keep kids in school even throughout high school. And so the work you do is so important. It's all volunteer. Mark, I want to thank you for joining the board also with all your years of experience, and children who are also in sports. But thank you. Keep it up. And the work, and you all know this, but the work that you're doing with kids is less work that sometimes has to be done otherwise if kids start getting in trouble. And so it's noble and honorable. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, you guys want to come up for a picture with us?
Picture. Thanks so much. Now squeeze in a little bit. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. Good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I'm going to read a couple of statements into the record here in regards to the closed meeting that was held earlier this afternoon. I offer the following statement regarding the closed meeting held Tuesday, September 23rd at 2 p.m. Only those items described on the published notice and agenda for the closed meeting held on September 23rd, 2025 were discussed at the closed meeting. I need a motion for approval, and it will become a part of the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
And I'll second. So we have a motion from Commissioner Baca and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Aye.
And seeing none opposed, passes 5-0. And there's just two copies of the same thing. I think that's all we needed, right? Yes. Ken? Okay. I think there may be another statement, so we may need to come back to that later in the meeting with regards to direction that we gave to the attorney. So we can circle back with that perhaps after public comment. So we'll go into item number 5, public comment and communications. Each person has 2 minutes, and you'll be alerted about your remaining time by the lights on the podium. When your name is called, please make your way to the podium if you're speaking in person. Feel free to form a line. Before making your statements, please state your name for the record. In order to maintain decorum and a spirit of professionalism and respect for everyone present, speakers must adhere to the 2-minute time limit. If the conduct of the presenter violates the rules, they may be subject to removal. Javier, could you please call the names of the speakers this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This evening, we have a total of 5 speakers with 1 speaker on Zoom. Please line up at the podium when your name is called, and when it is your turn to speak, please state your name for the record. We will start with Don Schrader, followed by Dale Alverson, followed by Brandon Smith.
Don Schrader. The Bible says the powers that be are ordained of God. Were Hitler and the Nazis, who murdered millions of Jews, gays, gypsies, handicapped people, communists, Jehovah's Witnesses, ordained of God? No God heard and helped them, so why would I expect God to hear and help me? Was the U.S. government that murdered millions of women, kids, and men in Native America, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Central America, Gaza, and many other nations ordained of God? When 2 nations murder each other in war, are both governments ordained of God? Crazy garbage in the Bible. The Bible says, servants, obey your masters in all things. Be obedient to your masters with fear and trembling. When the white master rapes an enslaved black woman, obey your master in all things. No verse in the Bible damns all slavery. Many verses support slavery. No verse in the Bible damns all war. Many verses support war. Why did I, Don Schrader, a very sincere young Christian preacher 59 years ago, swallow? Why did I preach this religious rubbish? With the help of many people, I slowly woke up. I am an atheist.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
Dale Alverson, followed by Brandon Smith, followed by Dr. Geraldo Cianello.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chair and Madam Vice Chair and other commissioners, I'm Dr. Dale Alverson, and I'm one of the pediatric providers on the mobile school-based health clinics program called Health Yeah, serving the Albuquerque Public Schools students. I want to thank Bernalillo County and the Associated Behavioral Health Authority for sponsoring this program, being currently managed by the Wellness Equity Alliance. I've seen many of these students, and as I have, I've become increasingly aware of their need and our need to provide access to both physical and behavioral health services where they are at school. Many of these students' families have no or inadequate health insurance, and the students have often not been able to see a primary care provider if it was not for this program. It's my hope that this type of program can continue. Even if there's a different provider organization, we are all committed to a smooth, appropriate, and effective transition, ensuring continuity of care for these students and their families. And I just have to say also, I've been very impressed by the two other programs presented here. I think it shows the commitment of Bernalillo County and all of you when it comes to youth and young adults in recovery. We certainly are concerned about that in schools. And then the Youth Sports Commission. And I can tell you I've seen a lot of students that are getting their sports physicals, and they're excited about participation in sports. So thank you, Bernalillo County, for all of your support in this program.
Thank you very much.
Brandon
Good
Smith, followed by Dr. Geraldo Cianello, followed by Tyler Evans.
Yate, Shea Brandon Smith and Shea. Titna Jin National Natlan Bashichin, Kia Ani Ea Dashiche. I'm honored to be before you. My name is Brandon Smith. I'm the practice manager for Health Yeah, New Mexico, also known as Wellness Equity. I appreciate this opportunity to speak before you and tell you the gratitude of what I'm seeing with regards to the extension that we got on behalf of the students that we see on a daily basis. It's my pleasure and honor since I joined the company back in June that the things that have happened in terms of the positive transitions that have occurred, but most importantly, the stories that I'm hearing of students who don't have health insurance, of the political climate that we're in, families afraid to go out to seek assistance and guidance and health care. So I come before you just to show my gratitude and appreciation as a member of the community, but most importantly, as a servant for you all, for the community that we're serving right now as well.
Hello, I am Selena Law. I'm also an employee with WEA, Wellness Equity Alliance. I am the clinical supervisor and therapist for the ATP program. And we just wanted to thank you for the extension to actually still be able to go in with our clients and do the good work. We have seen, since I started in May, 500 plus graduates with no waiting lists. And we see clients that are sincere about staying sober. So this was just on time with the youth as well. As we begin to continue our work through the reentry program, we hope to still be in the community together doing a good work. Thank you.
Dr. Geraldo Cianello, followed by Tyler Evans.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and County Commission members. I am an alternative health doctor, minister, and taxpayer, Dr. Geraldo Cianello. Thank you for serving. Do our taxpayer dollars funding this horrific gender-affirming care? Too many children have been told by medical professionals that they were born in the wrong body and mutilated under the banner of so-called gender-affirming care. The truth, these children, in many cases, their parents have been lied to. These barbaric drug and surgical regimens are not lifesavers for transgender identifying children. They lead to lifelong medical complications. Testosterones leave girls with vaginal atrophy and laceration, clitoral enlargement, facial hair growth, vocal hoarseness, menstrual irregularity and suppression, as well as suppression of ovulation, which can lead to sterility. Estrogen puts boys at higher risk for blood clots and sterility. In case you don't know, men cannot have babies because God created male and female in his image. Surgeries like vaginoplasty, which surgically cut off the penis and create a gaping wound, neovagina. that is prone to infection, double mastectomy are irreversible. Thankfully, the Federal Trade Commission is now investigating whether the pediatric gender medicine industry has deceived families by hiding risk, making false claims. As independent women ambassador Prisha Mosley, a detransitioner, told the FTC, and I quote, "This is the greatest medical scandal of our lifetimes. Doctors are selling patients snake oil. No human can change sex," end quote. It's well past time to call this so-called gender-affirming care out for what it actually is, a lie. Our most vulnerable Americans, our children, deserve better, don't you think? May God have mercy on us. Thank you.
Tyler Evans.
Mr.
Good afternoon.
Evans?
My name is Dr. Tyler Evans, and I'm a adult infectious disease and addiction medicine physician. I'm also the CEO and the Chief Medical Officer for Wellness and Equity Alliance. So I'm really glad to be here to discuss our case with you today. Just a little bit about me. I've worked in refugee camps. I've worked on the Ebola response. I've held dying babies in my arms, and so our work throughout the United States, particularly in communities like New Mexico, is really sort of heartwarming for me. And this program, the Health App program, focused on the school-based health centers, particularly focused on the at-risk youth, as well as our carceral health program, in addition to our reentry program, are really, really incredible opportunities for us to sort of give back to the community and provide opportunities to sort of focus not just on the upstream, but the downstream elements of healthcare. So while we were a bit disappointed about the news that our program had to sort of end a little bit earlier than we had expected, we are really appreciative that the county commissioners considered and BHA, in addition to Ken Martinez, really kind of did the right thing at the end of the day and allowed an extension for 120 days to get us to December 18th so that we could properly transfer this program that, the taxpayers, the county, APS, and so many other people behind the scenes, particularly folks like Commissioner Quesada, put together in order to make this program a reality. So these kids matter. Some of the stuff that we hear from our everyday, boots on the ground, like Brandon Smith, Dr. Alverson, and Selena Law, is really, it's heartwarming stuff, it's heart-provoking stuff, and we're really just glad to be an extension, of the county. So thank you again for listening, and thank you for this extension, and we look forward to transitioning this program back to the county on December 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This concludes our public comment.
Thank you very much, Javier. I'm going to go back to the closed meeting statement really quickly, now that we have the updated statement. I move that the county manager and the county attorney be authorized to proceed with the matters discussed in the closed meeting held on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, within the parameters set by this commission in the closed meeting.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, passes on a 5-0 vote. And I want to take a quick point of privilege here and recognize the county manager. We heard quite a bit of public comment on this health van issue, and so I wanted to recognize her for a brief response.
Thank you so much, through the chair and to the commission. And as you know, it's not customary that we respond to public comment, but given both the news and the enormous amount of information that went out without the community responding, the county responding, I thought it might be beneficial to those watching the meeting to understand a little bit about what's happening. Bernalillo County terminated its contract with Wellness Equity Alliance after thoughtful consideration and due diligence on behalf of the county. The county and WEA are currently discussing a transition process, and the county looks forward to continuing to work with our partners, in particular Albuquerque Public Schools, to explore new and innovative ways to continue to deliver healthcare services to our school-aged children. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Madam County Manager. We appreciate it. All right, so moving on to section 6 of our agenda is going to be our consent agenda. Madam Clerk, could you please provide resolution numbers for items 6E, 6F, and 6L? And please provide ordinance numbers for items 6H and 6I.
Chairman Olivas, Commissioners, 6E shall be 2025-94, 6F shall be 2025-95, 6L shall be 2025-96, 6H shall be 2025-29, and 6I shall be 2025-30.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. With those numbers being issued, the consent agenda has been published and made available to the public, and resolutions have been introduced at previous meetings, or the commission has acted on requests for immediate action. Therefore, I move to approve the consent agenda. And we have a second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal in the affirmative.
Aye.
Yes? Any opposed? Passes 5-0. All right, moving right along, we have item 8, which is immediate adoption of our capital improvement program priorities for the special session. Madam Clerk, would you please provide a resolution number for item 8A?
Item 8A shall be 2025-97, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, we have Ms. Kathy Court to tell us more about these policy priorities for the 2025 special session. Ms. Court.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Commissioners, colleagues, and County Manager Chavez. This is, your item on the agenda is an introduction, and as County Manager indicated earlier and you approved, a suspension of the rules so that we can do a final adoption of an administrative resolution identifying the county's legislative priorities for the 2025 special session, which will convene on October 1st, 2025 by order of the Governor of the State of New Mexico. A little background and why this special session is being called. H.R. 1 was signed into law on July 4th by President Trump. The law will reduce state revenues by shifting costs from the federal government to the states for key social programs such as Medicaid and SNAP benefits. And it also makes policy changes that will harm many thousands of New Mexico residents who rely on critical emergency communication services via the public broadcasting service. Reductions to federal Medicaid and SNAP funds alone will result in multi-billion-dollar losses annually that threaten household budgets and the survival of New Mexico's healthcare system, particularly in our rural areas. When the governor sent out that news release expressing the issues that she wanted lawmakers to address in this special session, she highlighted these key areas. Number one, the Rural Health Care Delivery Fund. She does want lawmakers to consider grants for healthcare providers because our rural areas are suffering everyone is suffering, but I specifically identified our rural healthcare providers' needs. Also, health insurance premiums, making them more affordable for New Mexico residents who are losing their Medicaid coverage because of H.R. 1 provisions. Food assistance, in particular the SNAP program. She wants to make sure that New Mexico puts investments into these food assistance programs for children, seniors, and our families in need. In addition, she cited the cuts to the public broadcasting system, which really does impede our emergency communications, especially to our rural areas who rely on our public service stations, public broadcast stations, to issue those emergency communications. And finally, she cited the need for more resources for the Healthcare Authority because it will be the Healthcare Authority that has to implement the upcoming Medicaid enrollment changes when they become effective because of H.R. 1. So, as you all know, we did meet in a work session on September 16th, 2025 to discuss the special legislation, the special session and possible legislative policy stances of the Board of County Commissioners. Your feedback was received, and based on the work session, the resolution in front of you does identify some pretty general language that allows our contract lobbyists and all of us here at the county to proceed and address any of the key issues that the governor wants lawmakers to address in this upcoming special session. You'll note in your resolution, the proposed resolution in front of you, that it outlines support for legislative action to fund and protect Medicaid and SNAP benefits for New Mexico residents, plus public broadcasting services, affordable health insurance for New Mexicans losing Medicaid coverage. It supports the Healthcare Authority resources in order for the Healthcare Authority to prepare for upcoming Medicaid enrollment changes. It does support additional food assistance programs for children, seniors, and families in need. And it also supports it states its support for local governments and municipalities facing reductions in federal transportation funding as well. So with that, I will stand for any questions and take any edits, recommendations that you might want to be made before we actually put this out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Court. Open it up to any questions or a motion. Commissioner Barbara Baca.
Oh, I move approval.
Second. Second, Vice Chair.
And not a question, just a comment. I wanted to thank staff, our lobbyists, Dan Weeks, our county manager, Kathy Court, for the swift work on this. I think this is very relevant and so important that Bernalillo County, the most populous county, is at the table working with our legislators and our governor on this very important, as stated, these very important needs. So thank you.
Any other discussion or comments from commissioners? I just want to say thank you to the management team, everybody involved for their quick work on this. You know, we've got a legislative session coming up here in
Next week.
1 week, basically. And so, you know, that's also part of the reason why we have immediate action on this, to allow that kind of swift action on something that's very important and impending. But I'm just very grateful, not only for the team here at the county, but for the governor and the legislators, all of our legislators that will be up there working on this. Couldn't be more grateful to live in the place that I live right now, facing these kinds of cuts and uncertainty, that we have the leadership in New Mexico that's ready to step up and step up to these challenges and, you know, really confront what I believe is some pretty significant federal overreach and really misses the mark of what was promised, which was about affordability and, you know, helping people that were struggling. I don't think that cutting these programs right now is going to help anybody to afford their day-to-day life, at least not the people that are struggling to afford day-to-day life are not going to be benefited from these things. So I'm glad that we're going to be right there next to our governor and our legislators in the conversation and trying to help advance these important priorities. So thank you. Seeing no further discussion, close the floor, and all those in favor of adoption, please signal in the affirmative. Yes? Any opposed?
I oppose only because I was not able to attend the meeting due to a scheduling conflict. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Benson. So that passes on a 4-1 vote. Thank you, Ms. Court. And next up, we have item 9, which is introduction of resolutions. So as we already alluded to, all of our resolutions generally require 2 hearings before final approval, except in special circumstances like those outlined above. So this first hearing will serve as the resolution's introduction. And the public is strongly encouraged to review the introduced resolutions, sign up to ask questions or provide comments. And so the following items will be returned at a subsequent meeting for final adoption. And so the first item is co-sponsored by myself and Commissioner Frank Baca, relating to boards and commissions and a resolution on those. So Commissioner Frank Baca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this resolution is directing a comprehensive review of all Bernalillo County boards and commissions. And And I think we kind of came to our interest in that separately and independently. And my reasoning is because prior to being on the commission, I was on the DWI Council for several years, and I really appreciated the work that they did there. And I know that there is, sometimes these commissions and boards, they put a lot of time into meeting and to assessing the information that's provided. And I thought during that period of time that I don't know that they're fully made, their presence was fully known here at the commission in terms of the work they do, the importance of the work they do, and the presentation of the summary of their work to this commission. So I was really interested in seeing that things get standardized a little bit for each different board and commission to really have a way to go about their work in terms of developing their mission and to develop a report that eventually presented to the commission. But at the same time, I actually, when one of my first meetings, I heard a really good report from, I think it was the Sheriff's Advisory Council, and I remember thinking about it. I thought that was a really great report. Now, what happens to it? What do we do with that? And so I think it was just there, but I didn't know, what the next step was. Of course, that was my first meeting. So my thought about this is simply to really think about all the boards and commissions in terms of what are the requirements to be on the board, what are the obligations of staff in regards to those boards and commissions, and ultimately, what is their responsibility to prepare a report, and then what is our responsibility as a commission to then get that information, get that report, and consider it and do something with it, because we're asking people to volunteer their time, to go to meetings, and oftentimes in person, and many times they sit down and write long reports. I've seen several of those in the last 8 months. And I think we owe them a debt of gratitude for their work and their service, but also the respect of really taking seriously what they recommend and thinking about it and then acting upon it. So I would just, on my own, sort of had the thinking of that we need to really standardize our procedure, everything from our website, agendas, minutes, board membership, and to also consider, as was alluded to earlier, some sort of stipend perhaps for the members, and that's just something that we're just going to leave open and just ask that staff and the county manager sort of take all this into consideration and think about it and to come up with some recommendations to report back to the county commission in due time.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would motion to approve the introduction of this resolution to direct a comprehensive review of all Bernalillo County boards and commissions.
I'll second. And I'll hand it off to the vice chair in just a minute. I just wanted to tack on a few words. Like Commissioner Baca said, this was kind of something that we both came to independently, but both interested in it as we heard these various boards and commissions report to us and, read through their work, that kind of thing. And similarly, I served on a couple of boards at the city before I was here at the county, and learned a lot about that volunteer role and, how much work often goes into that. But, again, seeing that there's really a need for some standardization, but also recognizing that volunteer work is valuable. And if we want to bring people into the process, I'm not saying that unpaid volunteers are not contributing, but if you really want to incentivize the broadest possible pool of folks that participate in these types of things, I think that you have to level the playing field as it comes to compensation. And so while that's not the only initiative as part of this comprehensive resolution, for me, that's a really important part to contemplate that. What would it cost? What would it look like? What are some various options? And so I'm very grateful to the management team, especially the COO, Ms. Julianne Baca, for her work on this and sitting down with us and talking us through, how this would work. I think the management was already headed in the same direction, so it's like all of us kind of came together and figured out that, this is really a direction we need to go. Take a close look at this and look for some options. And so I think this can be really helpful for us to really understand. I'm not sure I even know what are all the boards and commissions that we oversee, what is their source of authority, right? Some of those are created by this board. Some of those may be created by joint powers agreements with the city and county. Some of those, I think, lie, the one Commissioner Baca mentioned, the DWI Planning Council, I think is in state statute. So there are all these different boards that have varying sort of authorities, where those authorities derive. I think understanding that, and then understanding kind of what their work product is, who they report to, how they report that, and giving us and the community an opportunity to really think about that and think about what is the best way forward. How do we best utilize people that are willing to put their time and energy into our county and into making this a better place, just like all of us. So I think this is a great opportunity, and I also think it's really important that it's on the introduction calendar, because we really do want to hear from folks that serve on boards and commissions, folks that may have served on boards and commissions, right? Not just those present, but past, and get their input. Is there something we're missing here? Is there something that we didn't see? And that's another component of this that I would highlight is this directs the county administration to survey board members, right? Actually get their input on sort of what they're seeing, how much time do they spend on their various board and commission activities, and get their opinions, because that's a big part of this. What are they seeing? They're the ones living it. So I think this is a start of a much longer process to really reform how we manage these. So with that, we'll open up the floor. Vice Chair, did you want to? Okay, go ahead, Vice Chair Barbo.
Thank you. I had a couple questions. Thank you. I really think this is important to, and a lot of these boards, as I've learned, they've been around so long and been changing. So I see some of your requests to ensure that we sort of know the history of it, where it's been, why it's changed, and that I think all of that is important. I do think that this compensation piece, and I know that that can get scary for folks, but I work for a nonprofit and we work in rural communities, and we first started off giving $5 Walgreens gift cards, and people would find rides to get there, they would use that $5 to convince their cousin, friend, neighbor to drive them to our meetings. And I'd watch them give them the $5 gift card as we signed it over to them. And it's just that little bit. Now we give them $25, which still isn't a lot, but I know it means that maybe they can buy a meal for their family before they have to rush to our meeting or whatever. So I think some form of ability for compensation helps people, single moms, elders, young people. We don't see a lot of young people on our boards. So I think that part is really important for us to explore, and definitely support that. And I guess the part I didn't see on here, and I think I want to ask in the exploration of this, to really think about what also representation looks like. And I think it can go both ways, right? I think sometimes because we don't have enough applicants, then we end up with older, maybe more affluent people who can afford to retire, folks on our boards. But I also, see sometimes we make too many restrictions. So I think there's a comfortable middle. I think there's importance to think around the voices for each of these. I think when I got on, I went to several behavioral health committees, and a lot of them, I think it's a problem when we just say each commissioner can appoint someone, because we're not being thoughtful, and sometimes for good reason. I think we need just everyday New Mexicans on these boards, but also we need some type of experience, expertise at times as well. So I guess I'm just saying, thinking about age, demographics, gender, how are we making sure there's a balance of voices on these? And that also includes, just everyday New Mexicans that have the time to donate their time. So thank you for bringing this. I look forward to seeing is this passing of this resolution mean that so the introduction today and the eventual passage means that they will explore it, or okay, so we're not expecting a answer in 30 days.
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, correct. This is the introduction, right? So really no action being taken. We're just putting this out to the public. And then if it passes in October, this sets a timeline, I believe it's in March, that we would get a report back from county administration that will set forward recommendations. So at that point, it will again be in our lap to decide, how do we proceed? Do we implement some kind of compensation? Do we change anything? So this doesn't, unfortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, this doesn't do anything beyond study this problem and produce a report that can give us some direction and hopefully some good recommendations on how to proceed. And I don't know if County Manager wants to chime in on any of this, but you did ask a question on that.
Thank you. I think that the one reason that I request a little bit of flexibility on this is that I love the idea of actually talking to the folks who currently serve on our boards and commissions. And one request I would make of each of you is if there are folks that used to serve on a board or commission that aren't with us anymore, or people that you asked, because I know sometimes we ask you to get somebody to serve on a board, that we could actually just do a follow-up phone call with to understand what made them say yes or no, I think would be really helpful. And the other that I just want to make an observation about is that, and this really speaks to Commissioner Frank Baca's earlier comments about the mechanisms we're going to be using for community engagement would actually help us understand if there are structures that are more appealing. And I'll just use an example. Right now, we're working with the Economic Development Committee that you've all had someone attached to. We're asking them to do a ton of work, but it's a very time-constrained opportunity, and it's something they're super interested in, and there's a product that's going to come out of it. And so this may give us an opportunity as we're getting this feedback and doing these surveys to get more creative about how we get the kind of feedback that we want to get for very particular issues. And then the last thing I want to say is that I am mindful that we want to make sure we have the community represented, and that sometimes we need genuine areas of expertise that we don't necessarily get, and that impacts the outcome of products because you're missing a really important part of the community. So one of the other things I'd really like to explore is who is saying no to us, and how do we get them to yes? And again, that time-constrained opportunity may make more sense in some instances. So these are all good opportunities for us to explore, and the way I would interpret this is that under Julie's leadership, that you're asking us to come back to you with options that will create the best engagement we can get from the community and demonstrate the kind of respect we intend to with our boards and commissions.
Did that answer? Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, just thank you for that, both Chair and County Manager. Yes, I hope that I was clear that that's what I am hopeful for, that both we need expertise, because sometimes we're making clear decisions about, or we're making strong recommendations, and I know as a commissioner, I listen to those recommendations because I can't be on top of everything. So when our water protectors say, or our planning commission votes 4-0, then I'm largely trying to trust that vote. So I think it is important that we do have some expertise, some guidance and support, so those boards are also making informed decisions. Thank you.
Commissioner Benson, unless Commissioner Frank Baca, did you have anything you wanted to add to the question? All right, Commissioner Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I absolutely support having expertise on the boards. I've fought for that for several votes before. But I also do want to caution on the per diem. That can get out of control. And I think not that people's time isn't worth money, but there's also a certain value with volunteerism. Whether it's your school board or PTA or the sports board or like our SORB, the individuals that I've nominated that hasn't been an issue. But to Commissioner Barboa's point, it may be because of the point in life they're at where it's not an issue. So that's valid. But there's also value there where it's not driven by their own economic incentive. And so, yeah, I just want to caution on it as we talk about any kind of per diem. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Benson. Commissioner Barboa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that the really important thing that I would like the analysis to include is, like you mentioned, a short-term, very intensive amount of work that we're asking this Economic Development Commission to do for us. Another example of very intense, very intricate work that we ask is the County Planning Commission. It's a huge amount of work. We just saw an appeal here today. That went before our county planning commission, before it went through all of that process. Some of those are very time intensive, and that should be taken into consideration as well as you do this analysis. That's my statement there.
Vice Chair Barbo.
Sorry, I know, but I just want to reemphasize that I also hear you, Commissioner Benson, and I think there's just, well, first I want to say, we did for the new Behavioral Health Advisory Board, they are receiving stipends. I would ask if y'all could please talk to them in part of that process and see. I think it maybe doesn't make or break someone, right, but it provides that opportunity. If not that, I think things like food or ability to bring your kids with you was something. I know I was a very engaged young single parent with hauling around 2 kids, and the idea that there would be food at the meeting I was going to meant the difference that I could be there. So just asking you to consider all of those things.
Commissioner Baca, did you want to? Okay. I just wanted to respond to a couple of those comments, duly noted and agreed, frankly, with Commissioner Benson on the question of stipends. You know, one of the things that I saw when I was on the Police Oversight Board, and even more so before that on the Community Policing Council, was I felt that stipends needed to be an incentive for participation. So not hey, you're on this board, you get $100 a month, but you get a certain amount for each meeting you attend or each training you attend to incentivize participation, but at a level that ideally is not so high that, we don't want somebody making a living off of that. Not to say that you shouldn't or couldn't, but, to recognize that there is inherent value in sort of giving some of your time and effort and energy to the community and its betterment. So absolutely agree that has to be reasonable, and it has to be, for me, designed as a carrot, an incentive, because I know that on those boards that I served on, that was one of our biggest challenges, was meeting a quorum, getting people to the meetings, getting people to do the trainings that they were required to do in a timely manner. And so using those incentives in that way. And then to Commissioner Barbara Baca's point, and this was discussed with Commissioner Frank Baca and Julianne and I, looking at sort of the amount of work that each board is, the amount of expertise that might be required, and perhaps having some kind of a tiered system even for that compensation, right? Where, some of these where we know that it's going to require more work, more expertise, more preparation, that we might want to incent that differently than others. And I think that's all something that I really do trust that with the leadership we have, that's going to come out in this process. And the last thing I wanted to mention that hasn't been mentioned, but it's part of this, and I think a really important part, is getting the staff surveyed as well. Because we have a lot of staff in this room and not in this room that works with these volunteer boards and commissions that are going to bring a different perspective to what are the challenges, what's good, what's bad, what's not working, what could we do better. And so I think that's a really important part too, because I'm sure that they may say something completely different or very similar to what those board members would say. So I think that's an important perspective, and hoping that we can get some really robust participation from them too on their suggestions. So I think this is really an open book here as far as starting this out and getting the best information. So with that, anything else, Commissioner Baca?
No, I think we already made a motion, right?
Yep, all right. We're good to go. We'll go ahead and close the floor. All those in favor of introduction, signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Moving along, we'll go to budget. We have fiscal year 2026 budget adjustments. Deputy County Manager Shirley Reagan to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners, or Mr. Chair and Commissioners. My name is Jackie Sanchez, Director for Accounting and Budget. The fiscal year 2026 budget was approved by the Board of County Commissioners on May 13th, 2025, pursuant to the New Mexico Statute, Section 6-6-2, 1978, was submitted to to the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, DFA, on June 1st, 2025. Then approved by the DFA on August 14th, 2025. Bernalillo County is also required by state law to close the books each year and report balances that must roll forward to meet outstanding prior year vendor payment commitments as of June 30th, 2025, and remaining balance requirements for ongoing projects. This agenda item serves to true up the budget to the year-end balances and carry forward encumbered and unencumbered funds from the prior fiscal year into the current fiscal year. If approved, the agenda will be presented for final adoption on October 14th, 2025 administrative meeting. The agenda consists of two motions. The motion to approve the introduction of the financial resolution for fiscal year 2026 general fund and non-general fund final budget adjustments of $212,208,829 in revenue and $236,941,647 in expenditures listed in attachment number 1 and number 2. And this is based on the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 balances. The amounts include $38,307,078 in general fund prior year commitments referenced in attachment number 1, and $198,634,569 in non-general fund year commitments and new appropriations referenced in attachment number 2. The second motion is to approve the introduction to authorize the county manager or designee pursuant to Administrative Resolution 2023-77 to seek reimbursement to the general fund for any project or initiative funded by the general fund that subsequently receives funding in whole or in part from an alternative funding source such as another agency, bond proceeds, or grants. If the amount exceeds the county manager's authority, the item will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. In summary, based on the true-up, unspent funds are reauthorized to be moved into the current fiscal year so departments can complete projects or initiatives already started. Funds in the general fund and all life-to-date funds are projected based on balances available at the time of budget approval in the April to May timeframe. This adjustment allows for balances to be adjusted based on the final year-end balances available on June 30th. The budget was successfully closed for the fiscal year June 30th, 2025, and carried over encumbered carryovers into the fiscal year 2026. Departments submitted requests for any unencumbered funds that they still plan to utilize. To provide a background, the estimated general fund carryovers were introduced on June 10th and adopted by the board on June 24th, 2025. With approved estimated unencumbered carryovers of $88,420,412. Now, some adjustments are reductions to the estimated carryovers necessary to balance. As noted in the June 24th agenda summary, the projected balances reflected a point in time as of June 11th, 2025. And would continue to be analyzed and updated to capture expenditures until the final year-end balances are available. The expenditures posted before the year-end close, therefore, we need to reduce the amount carried forward. Supporting documentation includes the financial resolution and financial analysis form for $236,941,647. I stand for questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sanchez. Commissioners, any questions or a motion? I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll close the floor, call for a vote. All those in favor signal in the affirmative, yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes on a 4-0 vote.
Thank you,
Ms.
Mr.
Sanchez.
Chair and Commissioners.
Appreciate it. And just an announcement, Commissioner Barboa has been excused from the meeting. So we'll just continue on. Item 10 is approvals, Behavioral Health Authority Division, Partners in Health Program Services, and we have Dr. Lindstrom to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I'm here before you this evening to propose a resolution for your consideration regarding the Partners in Health Indigent Care Fund. This fund is generated from the 1/8 of 1% gross receipt tax for a $1 million annual allocation to support the delivery of primary medical care and dental care to the medically indigent residents in Bernalillo County. 4 providers had been awarded under the Partners in Health RFP number 18-21-SB, and these agreements were formally managed by the Community Services Division, and the agreements were expired on June 30th of this year. On July 1st of this year, this Indigent Care Fund was transferred to the Behavioral Health Authority for ongoing management. Under established, excuse me, I haven't forwarded my slides. Under established procurement methodologies, our authority executed 2 service requests from our behavioral health multi-award RFP number 46-24-EM, 2 professional service agreements of $100,000 each, for a total funding allocation of $690,000. We subsequently released an RFP number 10-26-EM on August the 4th of this year to solicit proposals for the remaining balance of $310,000 remaining in this fund. The RFP closed on September 10th of this year. 1 or more offers will be awarded under the solicitation, and the anticipated agreement term is through June 30th of 2026. Therefore, the Behavioral Health Authority respectfully requests the Commission to authorize the county manager to award agreements resulting from the solicitation and award and execute agreements with awarded offerors and approve any subsequent agreements in accordance with Administrative Resolution 2023-77. And I'll stand for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lindstrom. Commissioners, any questions or a motion? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Barbara Baca. Any discussion? I do have just kind of a very general question, Dr. Lindstrom. Can you just summarize in general, what is the overall goal of this procurement and the services that this is going to render in the community?
This procurement is an attempt to meet the needs of those who are medically indigent, which means they have no health care coverage, they don't qualify for Medicaid, and we have had 4 providers that have been funded under this award in the past who serve this population, and they have reported in meetings with me that their needs have continued to increase, and that this allocation is far short of meeting that need. And as we talked about earlier this evening with regards to the agenda related to the special session about the potential implications of funding cuts in Medicaid, challenges to enrollment, et cetera, which will only exacerbate the pressures on this fund moving forward.
Understood. I think we can all appreciate that, and I don't think there's much more to say about that. Is this $1 million per year, or is that just what's currently?
It's $1
in the
million
fund?
annually, correct?
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Commissioners, anything else? With that, close the floor. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor signal in the affirmative. Yes?
Yes.
And seeing none opposed, that passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you, Dr. Lindstrom.
Thank you.
All right, last up this evening in our discussion items, we have the Compliance Office, Code of Conduct Review Board, and Compliance Office Biannual Report with the Chief Compliance Office, Mr. Rocky Gutierrez, to present. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chair Levis, County Commissioners. I'm Rocky Gutierrez, Chief Compliance Officer. I'll be walking you through this evening's FY25 semi-annual Code of Conduct Report for Bernalillo County, covering January through June. Contributors to the report are myself, Ms. Veronica Gonzalez, our Review Board Attorney, and Ms. Swen Chavez, our Program Coordinator. Okay, I always want to give a special thank you to our review board members for their remarkable service to the county and the people we serve. The review board plays a critical role in overseeing adherence to ethical standards within county. Notably, Martha Brown from District 3 serves as chair, Chuck McCoon and Robert Doucette as co-vice chairs from District 2 and 4 respectively. I also want to recognize Eric Cedillo Jeffries from District 1 and Ralph Rons from District 5. All appointment terms are up to date. Here we list the alternative members for the Code of Conduct Review Board who step in when primary members are unavailable. The report notes vacancies and upcoming reappointments required by County Commission. Alternate members for District 1, the term expired on April 22nd, 2025. Alternate member appointment for District 2 expired on April 24th, 2025. We have a vacant position with District 3 within which that member, alternate member, resigned in January of this year. Sean Cassini, alternate member was appointed this year and his term will expire in 2027. Also, Mr. Kai Tukemsa, alternate member for District 5, was reappointed this evening. Thank you. Here we show the volume and types of Code of Conduct related activities through FY25 broken down by quarter. It includes sworn complaints filed in quarter 3, we had 1. Quarter 4, we had 1 sworn complaint. Advisory opinions, none in quarter 3 and 4. Formal opinions requested, we had 6 in quarter 3 and 3 in quarter 4. Informal opinions requested, 1 in quarter 3 and 2 in quarter 4. And for non-code complaints, we had 7 in quarter 3 and 16 in quarter 4. Mostly external complaints, and all were sent to the appropriate department for handling. Housing appeals, the report totaled all comprehensive accounts for the year's cases. We broke them down into quarters in the report here. We had 5 in quarter 3 and 6 in quarter 4. Training sessions conducted. This year, the Compliance Office commenced a 2-year cycle for public servants and ethics training. In quarter 3, we had 5 Code of Conduct sessions, 4 new employee orientations, 4 anti-harassment sessions. Quarter 4, To present, including tomorrow's sessions, we will have 16 Code of Conduct sessions, 2 sessions presented by Mr. El Lama, and 7 new employee orientation sessions in Q4. Here are the sworn complaints filed during FY25, Q3 and 4, providing case details, including submission dates, hearing schedules, and final action. 2 cases highlighted, Olivas versus Stover, with an evidentiary hearing held May of 2025, and final action on May 27, 2025. Stover versus Olivas, with a preliminary hearing held in June 2025, and final order issued on July 24th, 2025. Regarding legislative recommendations, the review board was initially scheduled to approve proposed amendments to the Code of Conduct on September 12th, but the meeting was postponed at this time until October 3rd. The review board is also moving forward with the commission's recommendations for a fiscal analyst to review elected official wages and is presently moving forward to secure a contract with a selected vendor. I want to acknowledge Ms. Rita Martinez, give her a special thank you for her service to the Compliance Office. We also want to welcome Ms. Gwen Chavez as a newly appointed member to our team. They have done great work, especially coordinating all of our training, so I really want to thank them very much. And I stand for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gutierrez. Any questions, commissioners? Go to Commissioner Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gutierrez, thank you for this report. How can we know what resolution has come about from these complaints? The presentation was about the initial complaints and the dates, but what about finding out about the end results?
That's a very good question, sir. We describe it as 3 categories of complaints, and it depends on who the respondent. If the respondent is elected official or unclassified employee or classified employee, it depends on whether the results are made public. Elected officials, as you know, the entire proceedings are public. For unclassified and classified employees, those are confidential procedures and protected for confidentiality unless a final action results in an appeal by the employee. At that point, all the material becomes public information.
Okay, so to clarify, based on that first page of all the different complaints, the different categories, it's not possible for the public to know if they were resolved or what the resolution was, correct?
Are you referring to the non-code complaints, sir?
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Benson, it depends on whether the individual who filed the complaint wants to disclose their identity. If they do, we will issue reports back to that particular person. And sometimes the department may also receive that person's identity. But we receive that permission first from that person. If so, then we conclude, yes, that information is considered public. Unless we have permission, we always assume that it's an anonymous complaint.
Okay, so if it's an anonymous complaint, you pursue it, but then the end results remain sealed.
Not the end result, but the identity of the person, because the end results depend on the action of the department itself. That is, per se, public, if you will. Okay. So the result is public. The identity of the complainant remains confidential.
Sure, okay. Where would the public go to find out how these issues are being resolved? And I say that just because some of these numbers are high. And are the problems just reiterating because problems really aren't solved? Or they are solved and these are just a new fresh batch of problems coming up in front of you all? How can the public be assured that ethics are dealt with appropriately.
Yes, sir.
Ethical matters, sorry.
Yeah. Chair Levis, Commissioner Benson, that's a very good question. And in that sense, we would ask the public to rely on the confidence of our office. So when we request status reports from the individual departments, we ask for, and we try to resolve these issues within 90 days. They have to be satisfied by us. If we are not satisfied with the result, we ask them to continue and maybe take another course of action. But otherwise, that's really the end result. We ensure that there was a resolution to that particular complaint.
Okay, and then if it was an anonymous complaint, then it's kind of hard to know if that's a frivolous complaint or a legitimate complaint. Is that correct?
It is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for the public anyway. To see a large number like that, if they're all anonymous, they might just be petty, frivolous complaints. But if it's not anonymous, then you do report back, at least to the individual that filed the complaint, correct?
Chair Levis, Commissioner Benson, that's correct. We do our best, if we have information, if it's not an anonymous complaint, to report back to the individual. Sometimes, some steps, because it depends on whether it involved corrective action of an employee, that is confidential. If that's the case, we report back to the individual that steps were taken and the issue was resolved. If there are certain measures that a department can take that are not confidential, we'll report that back to the individuals.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I would encourage the public employees or just the public population to, it takes courage and it's scary because there could be retribution, and I've heard lots of stories about retribution, so it does take courage, but it's more effective that way, at least in terms, there may be a sacrifice but that you have to make, but I do encourage individuals to take courage. If you're going to file a complaint, if at all possible, put your name to it. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Barbara.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gutierrez, can you describe to me the schedule for you say here on the slide that on October 3rd, the review board is going to be looking at the amendments to the Code of Conduct ordinance. What is the schedule for, I mean, you're taking it up on the 3rd, but what's the schedule for completion?
Chair Levis, Commissioner Baca, if I'm not mistaken, they will approve the amendments that came before them, and then they will review them or submit them before this board for consideration and adoption. And I believe you will go through your process for adoption at that point. They just need, I think they're at the final step on October 3rd.
Okay.
Yes, to approve all the, and well, because there has been a lot of consideration over 2 years of these particular amendments, but to approve the final adoption of those recommendations.
And make recommendations, excuse me, Mr. Chair, and make recommendations back to the commission.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And just to follow up, you mentioned the contract to talk about the pay, or describe that again for me?
The market comparison.
Market comparison.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, they are in the process. We're in the process currently of securing a vendor for that particular process with the assistance of Ms. Julianne Baca and HR. We're finding that their process for evaluation might be a little longer than we had hoped, so we're trying to move quickly on that.
So you don't have a schedule for that?
We're in the process right now of securing the contract. As soon as we do, if we move forward with this particular vendor, they say they can start acting within 2 years of authorization. Excuse me, 2 weeks of authorization.
Okay, thank you.
All right, not seeing anybody else here on this. I am very interested in those changes. So I've reached out to Mr. Martinez to make sure that we can get a meeting and understand what the Code of Conduct Board is suggesting. And I do think it's important. I think it's good to have that vendor in place and get that moving, but I do think it's important that process, because of the public and political nature of, salaries of elected officials, that needs to be codified in this ordinance or somewhere else in ordinance that says what that process is, so that it's not just based on a contractor that's hired by, staff that works for us, or I'm not suggesting that's what's happening, but I'm just saying, I really hope to see that in that ordinance or in some other ordinance, maybe it's a whole new ordinance. But I think county manager wants to chime in here. Go ahead.
Actually, a couple things that I want to just acknowledge. One is this is a very new process for them. And we gave them this direction, frankly, as a way to create a fair, open, transparent, and frankly, with leaders who are familiar with our code of conduct and really taking that into account as we proceed. I think that giving them more distinctly this as an option of a body of work makes a lot of sense. I think the process, I would just caution everyone to allow them to figure out that process before we try to codify it, in part because it is so new. And one thing I'll just say is I haven't talked to the vendor directly at all, because we really wanted the vendor choice to also belong to the Code of Conduct Board. But they are really looking at a pretty refined number of positions in the organization. And so my hope is that this isn't something that is going to take them too long, because frankly, our staff did a lot of that original research in a relatively short period of time, so now I want to understand that. But all that said, I would just caution us to make sure that they have the ability to do this, but that the process at least get an opportunity to be vetted. Now, I think it makes sense to have some values attached to it, like transparency, the meetings are open, that any materials that are developed are also public, those kinds of things. But I just caution us only because they've not done it before.
Great, and something you said just really helped me soothe any concerns, is you said that the board, the Code of Conduct Board, has been intimately involved in selecting and vetting this vendor or a vendor for this, and that makes me feel really good that they're involved in that. And then one other thing for you, Mr. Gutierrez, along the lines of what Commissioner Benson was asking, I'm just going to give an example that I know of because it was in my district specifically. Like, we got a complaint, and tell me if this is completely wrong, but we got a complaint at one point in time about the transfer center in the East Mountains, about someone was rude to a customer, and so somebody was, complaining about that, and then we forwarded that to your office. Now, you may not remember that complaint specifically, but is that what you're talking about when you're saying a non-code of conduct complaint? Would it be something like that, where a citizen just complains about an employee or something like that?
Sure, Olivas, yes, sir, that is correct. And those types of complaints, again, would involve possible, I'm not going to say it's going to result in disciplinary action, but those are corrective measures that would remain confidential. Exactly.
Very good. All right, thank you. I appreciate that, and
Yes,
that makes a lot of sense. Anything else, Commissioners? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Gutierrez. Appreciate your time and your report tonight.
Thank you.
With that, announcement of our next commission meeting, Tuesday, October 14th. We're going to have a zoning meeting at 3 p.m., followed by our administrative meeting at 5 p.m. right here in the Ken Sanchez Commission Chambers. If there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned.